Humanity has always reached for the stars, not with reverence, but with ambition. What was once myth became science. What was once impossible became inevitable. The Earth Alliance is now a dominant force, standing at the crossroads of diplomacy and military power. It is not a singular entity. Within its ranks, politicians, admirals, corporate leaders, and scientists all fight for control over the future of humanity. Expansion is not just a goal. It is a necessity. New resources, new trade routes, new opportunities. And so the Alliance looks to the Veil Expanse, a region of space long considered a navigational dead zone, devoid of known civilizations. In the vast emptiness of space, a lone Earth Alliance ship drifts past a dying star, its light flickering like the last breath of an ancient being. The first deep space scans return something unexpected: structures, massive and silent, hidden in the shadows of the dying star. Long-range probes vanish without a trace. Then a signal is received, unlike anything heard before. It does not use words but meaning. Every listening officer feels it rather than hears it. You are seen. You are heard. Do not step further into shadow. The fleet's command is divided. Some believe this is a warning. Others see it as a challenge. The decision is made. A first contact mission will be sent. The EAS Valiant, a diplomatic vessel, is chosen to lead the mission. It carries diplomats, scientists, and a military escort because while peace is the goal, history has taught the Earth Alliance to never approach the unknown unarmed. As the fleet moves toward the Veil, the final question lingers. Are they walking toward a new ally? Or their own destruction? The EAS Valiant and its escort ships emerge from hyperspace at the edge of the Veil Expanse. The region is eerily silent, no beacons, no comm traffic, just a vast, starless void stretching before them. The fleet slows as sensors pick up massive structures drifting in the dark. These are not space stations, not ships at least, not by human standards. They appear organic, pulsating with a faint glow, as if alive. For minutes, there is no response to hailing signals. The silence is deafening. Then, without warning, the fleet's instruments flicker and distort. The structures begin to move slowly, unfolding, revealing massive ships that seem to phase in and out of reality. No visible weapons, no engines, just presence, watching, waiting. Across every Earth Alliance frequency, a transmission surges through not in words, but in thoughts and sensations. Officers clutch their heads, momentarily disoriented. Some hear whispers in a language they don't know but somehow understand. Others see flashes of alien landscapes, unfamiliar constellations, and a distant shadow moving across the stars. Then, the meaning becomes clear. A warning. You are seen. You are heard. Do not step further into shadow. The Ve'ari reveal themselves. On the EAS Valiant, the diplomatic team is split. Ambassador Lillian Voss insists that the Ve'ari are not hostile, only protective. Admiral Lucian Drake, under orders from Earth's High Command, views silence as weakness. Seeking answers, Drake orders a scouting probe to be launched despite Voss's protests. The probe moves toward the nearest Ve'ari ship. A pulse of energy surges from the alien vessel, not a beam, not an explosion, but a field of crackling energy. The probe violently breaks apart, its hull twisted and crumpled as if crushed by unseen hands. On the EAS Valiant, panic erupts. Officers debate whether to retreat or retaliate. Before any decision is made, a single Ve'ari ship moves forward. Without any visible weapons, it releases another energy pulse, this time aimed at the fleet. The shockwave hits hard. Ship systems flicker and fail. Engines struggle, but don't shut down entirely. Weapons overheat, leaving them disabled but intact. The Ve'ari do not fire again. They merely wait, watching. The fleet limps back to Earth Alliance space, shaken and humiliated. Media and politicians twist the narrative, painting the Ve'ari as an aggressive, territorial species that humiliated humanity's forces. The government cannot afford to look weak. Orders are given. Prepare for war. But the Ve'ari's warning was never about territory. It was about something else is coming, and it has just awakened. Behind closed doors, the debate rages. Some Earth Alliance officials, like Ambassador Lillian Voss, argue that the Ve'ari's warning was not an act of war, it was something else, something bigger. Others, like Admiral Lucian Drake, believe that a preemptive strike is the only way to ensure humanity's survival. Intelligence analysts struggle to understand the Veyari's ships and technology. They have no traditional weapons, yet they rendered an entire fleet powerless. How? Scientists theorize the Veyari's power comes from manipulating space-time itself, but the full extent remains a mystery. The Earth Alliance High Command votes. They will take the fight to the Veyari. A fleet of battle-ready warships is assembled far larger than the First Contact Group. The mission: push into the Veil Expanse, establish military presence, show the Veyari that Earth will not be intimidated. Among the fleet, Admiral Drake leads the charge, convinced this will be humanity's defining moment. As the fleet enters Veyari space, they prepare for battle. The Veyari do not meet the Earth fleet with a counterattack. As the fleet arrives at the edge of the Veil Expanse, they find nothing. No response, no defenses, no Veyari warships. Instead, they encounter massive structures larger than cities, floating in silence. At first, the Earth fleet assumes they have the upper hand. Scanners reveal that these structures are not ships but ruins, hollowed-out husks of ancient cities. Some are still active, pulsing with strange energy fields. Then, the Veyari finally respond, but not in the way the Earth Alliance expected. No warships, no counterattacks, only a message. You have crossed into shadow. We will not fight you. But now it will awaken. Confusion spreads through the fleet. Admiral Drake, refusing to back down, orders his ships deeper into Veyari space. As Earth ships advance, a new transmission begins. But this one is not from the Veyari. A deep, resonating frequency echoes through the entire fleet. It overrides communications, cuts through security encryptions. It is not a message. It is a countdown. Fleet officers scramble to decode the signal. Scientists realize the horrifying truth. The Veyari were never defending their territory. They were guarding something. The countdown hits 0. The ruins come to life, energy surging through ancient structures like a network awakening from slumber. Space itself begins to distort, rippling waves of gravitational force spread outward. The Earth fleet scrambles, ships drifting out of formation as their systems flicker. Then, the sensors detect movement, not from the ruins, not from the Veyari, from something buried deep in the void. A massive object begins to rise from the darkness. It was never a planet. It was never a moon. It is a ship the size of a world, an ancient war machine, long dormant, and now it has awakened. Data floods into Earth fleet's computers. The Veyari were never the true danger they were, the last remnants of a civilization that had spent centuries keeping this thing sealed away. The Veyari do not attack. They do one thing only: they leave. Their final transmission. It was never about us, it was about you. Now it sees you. The Earth fleet is left alone, staring down an unknown, ancient force. The massive entity shifts, releasing a low, bone-shaking hum. Suddenly, space fractures, as if reality itself is being pulled apart. From the broken void, smaller vessels emerge, shaped like living nightmares, sleek, jagged, and unnatural. They do not hesitate. One Earth ship is hit by an energy blast, not burned, not destroyed, but hollowed out, its crew gone without a trace. Another ship tries to fire its weapons, but the energy is absorbed into the void before reaching its target. Panic spreads. The fleet is completely outmatched. Admiral Drake, shaken but unwilling to retreat, orders all ships to open fire. The battle begins, but it is not a battle. It is a massacre. The EAS Harbinger, one of the Earth fleet's heavy cruisers, is the first to fire. Its railguns thunder, missiles streak through space, energy cannons ignite the darkness, direct hits, but nothing happens. The rounds vanish before impact. The missiles disintegrate mid-flight. The energy blasts are absorbed, twisted, and sent back tenfold. Before anyone can react, the Harbinger begins to warp. The very space around it bends and folds, crushing the ship like a paper model. In seconds, the massive cruiser implodes, leaving only a silent ripple of distorted space where it once stood. The crew never even had time to scream. The fleet erupts into chaos as the alien vessels strike like shadows, moving faster than human sensors can track. Ships begin to vanish mid-maneuver, pulled into rifts that flicker open and closed in an instant. Others are hit by weapons that defy physics. Crew members inside ships scream as they are erased from existence, leaving only empty, silent corridors. Artificial intelligence systems go haywire, muttering in broken code before falling into silence. Engines rupture, spewing molten metal as ships are torn in half. The EAS Resolute, a battlecruiser, attempts to launch fighters, but as soon as they deploy, the small craft drift lifelessly. Their pilots are gone. Their bodies simply not there anymore, vanished into thin air. Admiral Drake desperately orders a tactical retreat, but the fleet is already trapped. Drake refuses to go down without a fight. He orders his flagship, the EAS Titan, to charge the enemy forces directly, a suicidal move, but one designed to buy time for the surviving ships to escape. The Titan's weapons fire at full power, but the enemy does not react. Instead, the ancient ship in the distance finally stirs. It does not fire weapons. It does not send more ships. It simply speaks. You are not ready. The space around the Titan bends and twists. The ship contorts unnaturally, its hull folding in directions that should be impossible. Then, in an instant, the Titan is gone. Not destroyed, not shattered, just removed from existence. The remaining ships panic. It's not fighting us, it's undoing us. The EAS Valiant, one of the few surviving ships, manages to activate its emergency jump drive. The moment the ship enters hyperspace, the void creatures stop attacking. The ancient entity's presence fades into the darkness once more. The last thing the crew of the Valiant sees is the wreckage of what was once a fleet, now little more than floating debris. One ship survives. One ship carries the truth. The Valiant returns to Earth Alliance space, its crew shaken, horrified, and changed forever. The truth is delivered to the highest levels of government. The Vayari were not the enemy. The Earth Alliance awakened something beyond comprehension. The war they expected is nothing compared to what is coming. The message is simple. We thought we were alone in the dark. We were wrong. But will Earth listen? Or will they fight the wrong war again? In the depths of space, the ancient entity remains still. It does not pursue. It does not attack further. Instead, it waits for something bigger, for something worse. Because now, humanity has drawn its attention.